All right, it is Sexual Awareness Assault Month, and as a victim, I decided to do this. This is a 30-day challenge posted by Higher Survivors. I probably should have read different things I'm supposed to do, but today I'm supposed to post something a photograph where I'm wearing teal. This is the closest I come to have to teal. I used to have some T-shirts in teal, but I wore them so much I kind of destroyed them, and they ended up being my masks during the pandemic. So this is as close as I could get. It's got teal in it. It's just not teal. I'm the victim of a man by the name of Jeremy Gilbreth, who's an assistant director. He and I were friends. We worked on Carnival together. He was Nick Stahl stand-in on Carnival. He had a girlfriend. He was just a friend. I felt bad for him. He had a drug problem. He got fired from the set for the drug problem. I was worried he was going to kill himself, I think. I had this big heart when I came to California. I was naive and nice, and he said he could get me VIP clubbing. So I agreed to go with him. It wasn't a date. We agreed to meet at a club, and he was going to get me into the club so I could experience the Hollywood club experience. And anyways, sometime during the course of the night, he confessed to a friend, went off and did cocaine. And I did not know this. And he had told me where to park that night. This was in 2005, and there was a club called the Spider Room and a club called what was the name of the other club? Forbidden City and the Spider Room. And we met at the Forbidden City, but he told me to park in the Kiss and Ride up on Cahuenga Avenue. I don't know if it's still there, but it was a kiss and ride kind of area that was right across the street from Hollywood Bowl. He said, you could park there, you should be fine, no one will ticket you, tow you. I'm like, okay, he told me where to park, all right? Told me to meet him at Forbidden City. And then from there, we went to the Spider Room. And then from there, we got out of the Spider Room really late. They offered to drive me back to my car. But they didn't drive me back to my car. Instead, they took me to a house in the Hollywood Hills, and I ended up in a bedroom with his friend Gus. And Gus, I had gotten the idea through the course of the night, might have been interested in me. Oh, my air conditioner's on. Let me turn it off. Anyways, Gus, I think, might have been interested in me. And he climbed into bed with me. And it was a one-bedroom house and up in the Hollywood Hills. And I climbed immediately out of bed. I was not interested in Gus. And I just met him. I was like, I just met you. I'm not hooking up with you tonight. And I ended up on the sofa with Jeremy because it was the only other place to lay down for the night and sleep. And I woke up with his hand down my pants. He and I had never kissed. We did kind of pretend to be like girlfriend, boyfriend on the set of Elizabethtown. But it was just pretending. Like, I was not interested. In fact, he took off with some other girl. Like, I hate to tell his wife this, but he did that all the time. Though, I don't know. His wife may understand him and may be perfectly fine with him doing stuff like that. But, I wouldn't be. But anyways, I woke up with his hand down my pants and pushed him off of me, and he passed out. And then later he fell down in the shower and passed out. I thought it was just... Then his girlfriend shows up and drives me back to my car finally. And while we're on the way to the car, he tries to jump out of the car and kill himself. And unalive himself. And I remember holding on to him from the back seat, trying to stop him while he was screaming, I want my 15 minutes of fame. He was obviously out of it, but I didn't know he was on cocaine. The thing is, the next morning he was running around trying to find Benadryl, like desperately, pretending like he had a cold, looking for Benadryl. And for those of you who don't know, Benadryl is very close to, I guess, I don't know, it's whatever the effect that it has something to do with drug use. The reason why he was looking for the Benadryl. I read that somewhere afterwards. I was like, why was he looking for Benadryl so desperately? But years later, in 2016, I got an email from a friend of his basically telling me that he blamed the cocaine on what he did to me that last night. And I'm thinking, what cocaine? I don't do cocaine. I've never done cocaine. If I had seen him do cocaine, I would have walked out of the club and not gotten in that car with those guys. So, anyways, in 2018, I was at Against the Stream in Santa Monica for a New Year's event because I was a practicing Buddhist, and I was trying to, like, New Year's was a time for me to try to find some place to sit, usually, in order to meditate and deal with the new year. Anyways, I went to go to an event at Against the Stream with Noah Levine, not expecting Ben Affleck to be there. At the end of the event, Noah Levine said, "Hug a stranger." For some reason, everybody around me had left at that point. It was just me and Ben Affleck. So he gives me this hug, and then I tell him, I'd worked on set with George Clooney, and I really liked that. It was really cool. And that I had been blacklisted for sexual assault. And I had been trolled and attacked so much that it convinced me that I couldn't trust my own senses. Like, I couldn't trust my own experiences. So I had convinced myself that this didn't really happen to me. I mean, I know I met Ben Affleck. I know he gave me a hug. But as he's walking away, he makes a slight comment to someone who I think it might have been Mary Stanklevich, but I'm not sure. He made a comment to somebody who came up to him and gave him a hug too. He said, "She's still talking about it." That's what he said as I was walking away. And I'm like, what is it that I'm still talking about? Working with George Clooney on set? Because I'm like, if you worked with George Clooney and you were a fan of George Clooney, you would talk about that. Or it's the fact that I had been sexually assaulted by someone and complained about it, and that's why I believe I was blacklisted. So, and then I didn't even, because, okay, I've never seen the movie Pure Pearl Harbor, and it didn't even dawn on me at the time that Jeremy Gilbert had gone on and on about how his first credit was in the movie Pearl Harbor. It didn't even dawn on me the fact that Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck are both in that movie. They're both in it, and I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it. But and then in 2019, Jeremy Gilbert also did a movie where he was an assistant director with Mules, and who was best friend with Kevin Smith, and they're both friends with Ben Affleck. But they all did Clerks together. So I'm like, and then in 2010, I went to an event with Matt Damon, and I told Matt Damon I was blacklisted, and he went like this, like, I've got a big head. I'm thinking, what do you think? Because I'm Phi Beta Kappa and Mensa, or maybe I have a big head because I wouldn't let every man in town, like, kiss me or paw all over me or go out with me. And I was just very reserved. And Matt Damon's an Ivy League Harvard person. And if his attitude is I shouldn't have a big head because I didn't go to Harvard or I didn't go to Juilliard, maybe you ought to find out what my credentials are. I made $927 last year running lines with actors because I had the reading ability of a 12th grader when I was in the 6th grade. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I'm a big dork. I'm not the sexiest woman in the world. Though people have said I look like the girl from Aliens. I'm sick. I'm very sick, so I'm underweight. So I look like I'm 70 years old, I think, when I'm actually the same age as Matt Damon, which kind of makes me mad at both of them. I told him, hey, maybe you ought to get more women older hired. Like, have more women of old. And he's like, well, he pointed out to one of his friends who is not only Jewish, but also from Juilliard. And I was like, great. You don't get it. Like, those two, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, are so competitive about their acting that they don't realize that other people want to do it too. That other people are hurting if they don't get to do it. That other people are in pain. And their attitude, well, you stopped doing it and we're still here. I'm thinking, yeah, but you want to know something? I'm still here. I haven't quit. I'm not doing acting right now, but I'm still here wanting to do it. And every day I think I'm in pain because every day I can't do acting. And every day I'm not working as an actor. I'm thinking about the guy that pussy grabbed me. And that he got to label me as crazy and convince me that I couldn't trust my own instincts. That I wasn't hearing what I was really hearing. That I wasn't sensing what I was really sensing. So I doubted myself. And I'm tired of doubting myself because I'm the kid that got straight A's in school. I'm not the kid who has delusions of grandeur. I'm not the kid who I have an imagination. I'm Walter Mitty. My father used to call me Walter Mitty. But have you seen the movie Walter Mitty? Walter Mitty is a movie about a guy with an incredible imagination. But people are messing with him and trying to give him he's crazy when he's not. So if I'm Walter Mitty, then I am being messed with. People are trying to convince me that I'm crazy. I've got men stalking me. I wouldn't want to stalk me.